Hey, this is Voices for Learning, where we help you grow as a voice actor. My name is Susan. Thank you so much for watching this video. In this video, I am going to explain to you the dreaded ACX submission requirements. I'm going to show you exactly where you can go to find them, what they actually mean, all of those negative numbers, what they actually mean. I'm going to actually show you how you can test your audio before you submit to ACX so you don't get anything kicked back. And as a bonus, I will show you where you can get some excellent training on ACX. All right, let's get into it. So the best place to find the ACX submission requirements is on the ACX website, which is just acx.com. And then all you're going to do is come on over to production resources. These are all of the resources that help you in your production. So you just go on down to ACX audio submission requirements. And what I am going to show you in this video is this right here, measure between negative 23 decibels and negative 18 decibel RMS, and have negative 3 decibel peak values and a maximum of negative 60 decibel noise floor. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what that means, because I know when I first started, I was really confused about what exactly that meant. I mean, I knew the numbers and I knew what I was supposed to do and the rules, but I had no idea what that actually meant. So what I'm going to do is show you a number line that I went ahead and made. Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about RMS. Okay, so what does RMS actually stand for? It stands for root mean squared. And think of it like when you were in Algebra 2, trigonometry in high school, or if you were really smart and you took it in 8th grade. Not like me. That was the last math class I actually took. Mean is like mean, median, average. So mean, RMS, just simply means the average of the volume of your audio. So where ACX is saying that they want it is in between negative 18 and negative 23. Now, hang on a second. On this number line, we have a 0, and I drew a 5 and a 10. Think of it like if you're driving in the car and your volume of your radio is on a 5 and you want to make it louder, so you turn it up to a 10, or you hit the button on your steering wheel, turn it up to a 10. As we are getting louder, the numbers are increasing in their value. And so when we're dealing with negative numbers in terms of decibels, the lower the number, the louder it's going to be. So it's opposite of positive numbers. So for instance, negative 23 is going to be quieter than negative 18. Negative 23 is going to be quieter than negative 3. Negative 23 is going to be quieter than a 0 or a 5 or a 10. So negative 23 is on the quieter end. Negative 18 is on the louder end. Just remember that most people, when listening to audiobooks, they've got earbuds in or headphones on. We don't want to blow their eardrums out. And so this is the comfortable volume for people who are listening to audiobooks, negative 18 to negative 23. So ACX is saying in their submission requirements it needs to be between these two numbers, negative 18 and negative 23. Now, right in the middle of those two numbers is a negative 20. So that's pretty much where you want your audio to be. About a negative 20, maybe like a negative 19.5, maybe a negative 20.5. But we want it to be somewhere here in the middle. We don't want it to be like too close to 23 or too close to 18. It's just too loud, it's just too quiet. So that's what RMS is. We're looking at the average of your audio. When we take the whole chapter, when we take the whole audio, what is the average noise level? And that is the RMS level. Now, when we get to the peak, I'll just write it. Man, it's like really hard to write with a mouse. Okay, so the peak. All right, so we just talked about average. The peak is the loudest that it gets. Because of course, in an audiobook, in anything, in human talking, we're going to make louder noises than we are going to make softer noises. I mean, it's going to be, a mix. The RMS is just the average, but the peak is what is the loudest that it ever gets? And the peak cannot be louder than a -3. If it's past a -3, you're going to blow somebody's eardrum out. Remember, people are listening to audiobooks, typically with earbuds, headphones, or they're listening to it in their car. It can still blow out a speaker in your car. So the peak is -3. Typically, my peak values are at like -3.5, somewhere in that range, and that's fine. We really don't want it any louder than a -3 because it's just too loud. Now, when we talk about the noise floor, and here I'm going to write just a floor. It is so hard to write with these mouses. Okay, so the noise floor is just the opposite of the peak. The noise floor is how quiet does it get? And noise floor has to do with your room tone. In other words, what is the ambiance of your room? When we just have our breath held, no talking, no noise whatsoever in our studio, what is that decibel at? And they're saying that it needs to be quieter than -60. So if it's at a -59, the noise floor is too loud. And typically at that -59, that's the shh sound that you hear like in between or like at the beginning or the end. We don't want that sound, that nasty static. We want the noise floor to be at a -60 or less. So if you're less than -60, you are good. If you're higher than -60, that means you probably need to add more padding in your studio. Maybe you need to upgrade on your microphone. I know, for example, like this little blue Nessie that I work off of in my studio to do these YouTube videos, it is so old. I don't even want to know what the noise floor level on that one is. Probably when it was new, the noise floor level was okay. It was probably at -60 or less. But now that it's just older and it's been banged around and I let people use it and borrow it and whatever they did with it, it's got probably some screws loose or whatever. So the noise floor, again, it just needs to be less than -60. Your peak level, which is the highest, it needs to be greater or quieter than -3. And your RMS, which is just the average, needs to be right around a 20, somewhere in between a -18 and a -3. So I hope that makes sense. Let me show you how to test your audio in Audacity. What you're going to do to test your audio is first make sure it's selected. You do that by just clicking in the gray area right over here on the left. And it is just analyze, because we're analyzing, and then down to ACX check, which is a plugin that I showed you how to do in a couple of videos previously. And if you're not sure how to do that and you don't have the ACX check plugin, just look at my description and you'll see how to put that in. It's really, really easy. So just ACX check. And here you can see that my peak level, which is the loudest it ever gets, is -3.31, which is perfect. That will absolutely pass. My RMS level is right around 20, -19.81 decibel, which is a pass. This would pass ACX submission guidelines. And the noise floor, they're saying, is a bit low, -92.86. And they give me a warning, it's too low. Dead silence sounds unnatural. Okay, that's fine, but this would actually pass ACX. So if this is what you're reading on your ACX check, you're probably okay. Just take a listen to it, and if you and the author are fine with it, then I have a feeling the listener is going to be fine with it too. As long as it just is not like complete silence, in between phrases or, whatever, you're fine. So that is how you do that. Now, as a bonus, I have in my description a link to my friend Anthony's ACX course, which is a very comprehensive course on how to narrate audiobooks. When I first got into voice acting 7 years ago, that's what I started off in. It was ACX. And it's a great place to start. It's a great place to learn because, let's face it, there's no degree in voice acting. You just have to learn everything off of YouTube and coaches and courses and everything else. And Anthony's ACX course is very, very, very good. He shows you how to set up your profile. He shows you how to audition. He shows you how to get noticed and how how to be successful while you're navigating ACX. So I highly recommend it. So be sure and check that out. And what we did is covered the RMS levels, the peak value, the noise floor, how to check your actual audio, where to go to find those levels if you forget. I remember when I first started, I had like a note card that I just stuck to my wall, and I had them there. So I recommend you do that too. Make your note card your little cheat sheet. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.